I am Dr. Mbanefo Uyanwune from Nigeria. I'm a medical doctor and with a background in peace building and conflict. And I've been involved around Islam conversation around vulnerable people with disability. I'm also the co-founder of Same As You Foundation, and I'm really thrilled to have this conversation today around disability. It's a very big conversation, especially as we talk about the sustainable development goal and the need to leave no one behind and to create a healthier and a better world for us. It's important that we understand this spectrum and know that disability is not inability. People can live their best form of life and have the best standard of living, with a little bit of consideration and a little acts of kindness. In the African setting, all forms of disabilities, visual disability, physical disability, mental disabilities, there is a lot of social stigma around it. They get from their dignity for what they get from their community, or they form their dignity from what they believe about themselves as human beings, and how do they form their opinion about themselves. It's very important that people with disability have their own network where they form their own culture and what they refer to as their own dignity as human beings. So it's really important that we use a whole of society approach where every member of the society recognizes that every human being has a right to live. There's no way we are able to, affect a larger number of people is not through the government and through policies. So a whole of society approach, a whole of government approach, and disability in all policies. So, every policy should look at inclusion and how people with disability can be included, not to leave anybody behind. I think the stakeholders working in this area are doing an incredible job, especially because some of the stakeholders in this area they do not have lived experiences, but they are people interested in humanity. But a key area to look at is applying a multi-sectoral approach. During our research work, we found that the nationwide review, and we had over 1,020 respondents, and only 29% have ever had a mental health review all through their life. And these are people that are prone to social stigma, external and structural stigma, bullying, name calling, and all that. But they've had a way internalizing it and living with it and self isolating and developing various forms of maladaptations. Only about 10% even know that they can actually go for, a mental health review, that they know that what they are having is a form of psychological distress. So what we're saying is a more sectoral approach enables us to co-develop these policies and our interventions with people that are, experienced in the area and are skilled, experts in the area they want to work on, like the psychologists, the dermatologists, the psychiatrists. And it's really important to co-develop these policies and to make them a lot more inclusive. And also another very important aspect is the institutional and the structural aspects, which cuts across both education, health system, and occupation. Because these are probably the adaptive models for people with disability. And oftentimes, in the community where they come from, even in their families, they witness different levels of stigmatization. And it's important that they have institutions where they can fall back to as good ways of adaptation to this stress. These interventions should do is to focus on building strong institutions, inclusive institutions, ensuring a more holistic approach. Whenever a person with albinism visits a health facility, it is really important that we also look at the fact that this person has a potential of having this mental health challenge so that we don't have missed opportunities. And we should also incorporate it in our interventions, our rallies, our workshops, and whatnot. It should always be a multi-sectoral approach, and it should be focused on building strong institutions. I think this is a really important point because it's really critical for our project to not just be a one-time thing, not just be a vertical project, something we just do once and, is not sustainable. So it's really important that our interventions are context-based, It makes it a lot more sustainable and a lot more resilient, a lot more inclusive. And what we found in our research work is that we found that the northern part of Nigeria, there was a higher amount of psychological distress. And we found it could be linked to their, socioeconomic status, the level of education for persons with albinism in the north was particularly very low. Occupation, most of them are unemployable. And also the weather condition there has made them prone to, a lot of photodermatitis and other conditions. If I'm planning an intervention, what would be my scale of preference, Because we can already see that the socioeconomic aspects and not necessarily the cultural aspect is a very big issue in the northern part of Nigeria. And so how are we able to address this issue? So a good way of doing it is that we should always use an inductive approach. You could develop your project with the people in that area. It's always important to embrace baseline surveys to find out what is really important to the people and how to really skill them properly to be able to implement it and to ensure its sustainability. And also community participation is very important. Let the members of the community be the measure players. Your function as someone intervening should be mostly as a facilitator. Our focus should be creating an accountable community and not, acting as saviors or something. We should get the members of the community to be involved in co-developing these projects. And we should always realize that, what works in one region might not work in another region. Issues around gender is very important. Our research work, we had 54% of the respondents were females. Issues of social anxiety become more in females because issue of social rejection is commoner in females with albinism. So I think female education should be very, very important. So as we are planning interventions and all that, educating the female child should be very, very critical. But also to empower. But a good aspect of empowering is, letting them know their power. And the best way you can let someone know their power is through enlightenment, through education, ways of being more resilient, and whether through capacity building, whether through skill acquisition in any form would be, very relevant in helping with this issue. But we should never forget context, and it's really important that we also, encourage more qualitative research work because it helps us to, what people think about it. Our research work was more of your quantitative. We tried to quantify everything with numbers, but poverty for someone might mean helplessness, for another person might mean hopelessness, for another person might mean bondage. I hope we, keep on doing this work and keep on making it inclusive, keep on making it more sectoral, and keep on empowering people with albinism. We co-construct our policy. We question every policy. We stick out for inclusion, and as we keep on doing it, we keep on ensuring that no one is healthy and a healthy and is better world is built.